You open your eyes before you remember your name, before you think about the day ahead, before you decide anything at all. Something happens, something very fast and completely unnoticed, a kind of claiming. This body, mine, these thoughts, mine, this life, mine, the room, the light, the sound coming from somewhere outside. All of it lands inside a me that wasn't there a moment ago. By the time you're fully awake, it's already done. You didn't do it. You didn't choose to become yourself this morning. You didn't sit up and think, all right, I'll be me again. It just happened. The way breathing happens, the way the heart beats. Automatic, prior to any decision, prior to any awareness of a decision being made. One moment, there was sleep. The next, there was someone. Notice if that's true for you. This morning, or the morning before, was there a gap, however small, between waking and becoming? Or did you arrive all at once, already assembled, already in the middle of a story that had apparently been running without you? Most people never look at this. It happens too fast, and the one who would look at it is the very thing that just appeared. Every morning you have inherited a self, and the inheritance happens before you're awake enough to question it. By the time you're already looking as someone, already positioned inside a perspective that feels like the only one available. The thoughts feel like your thoughts. The mood that arrives with waking feels like your mood. The concerns that surface, the ones that were there yesterday and will be there tomorrow, feel like they belong to you, because who else would they belong to? There is something almost invisible about this. The mood doesn't announce itself as a mood. It presents itself as the truth of this morning. The thought doesn't appear as a thought passing through. It arrives as an assessment, a fact, a reasonable response to the situation. And beneath all of it, holding all of it together, this quiet assumption that there is someone here to whom all of this is happening, someone continuous, someone who went to sleep last night and woke up today and is the same person who will remember this moment tomorrow. That assumption is so constant, it doesn't feel like an assumption at all. Annamalai Swami, a direct disciple of Ramana Maharshi, whose observations were gathered in living by the words of Bhagavan and final talks, points to exactly this moment. He writes, every morning when the mind appears, don't come to the usual conclusion, this is me, these thoughts are mine. Instead, watch those thoughts, and something in you may have just moved in response to that. A brief recognition, or maybe a quiet dismissal. The mind already knowing what to do with words like these, already categorizing, already deciding whether this applies to you or not. That movement, whatever it was, happened fast, faster than the decision to make it, and it arrived carrying a sense of ownership, so familiar that it barely registers as something that happened at all. It just felt like you, responding. This is what Annamalai Swami is pointing at. The claiming, the reflex that precedes any choice, the moment before the moment you think is the beginning. There's something that happens when the mind receives an observation like this. It begins to work with it, begins to watch for the claiming, begins to monitor the morning moment, trying to be present for the split second before I arrives. There is a genuine feeling of intention here, of someone moving towards something true, and that someone is exactly what appeared this morning before you were awake enough to notice. The watcher arrived the same way the thoughts arrived, fast, automatic, already carrying that sense of ownership, already feeling like yours. So the watching is happening, but the watching itself has been claimed. The seeing has a seer, and the seer woke up this morning already assembled, already in the middle of the story, now with a new task added, to catch the moment before it begins. Ramana Maharshi's instruction was Summa Iru, be still. Annamalai Swami returned to this again and again because it was almost always misunderstood. The stillness isn't something produced. It isn't the result of watching carefully enough, or of catching the claiming before it happens. It's what's already here when the movement of becoming pauses, even briefly, even without anyone arranging it. But something receives that and turns it into a direction. Now there is a stillness to find, a moment to catch, a practice to deepen, and at the center of all of it, someone practicing. The claiming doesn't disappear inside the practice. It relocates, and it doesn't only relocate into meditation, into observation, into spiritual effort. It reinstalls itself across the entire day. I am eating, I am working, I am meditating. Each activity, each transition, the same reflex running quietly underneath, signing its name to every moment. The I that appeared at waking doesn't dissolve when the morning ends. It travels. It enters the meeting, the meal, the conversation, the distraction. It arrives at night tired, having carried itself through the whole day without once being seen. And if you've been on a spiritual path for any length of time, you may recognize something particular in this, the way understanding becomes a possession, the way even the seeing of this pattern can arrive, as evidence of how far the observation has come. The claiming doesn't stop at the boundary of spiritual practice. It moves through it, the way water moves through soil, following every available channel, finding every open space. Annamalai Swami once said something that is easy to pass over quickly. He said, "Tell yourself you may die in 7 days." Simple statement, and yet something shifts when it lands. Suddenly the mind's usual hierarchy of urgency becomes visible. When the story might be ending, what remains worth carrying? Which of the day's concerns still feel urgent? Which identities still feel worth maintaining? The question isn't meant to produce an answer. It's meant to reveal the weight of what's been claimed, all of it, across an entire life, without ever being examined. The paradox isn't a problem to solve. It's the shape of what's actually happening. Tomorrow morning, it will happen again. The claiming, the assembling, the self stepping back into its story. All of it before you've had a chance to look. And somewhere inside that moment, so close to the beginning that it's almost impossible to find, there may be a gap, already there. The way sleep is there, the way waking is there. Prior to anything you did to bring it about, you won't be able to arrange it. The mind that tries to find the gap before it closes is already on the other side of it. Annamalai Swami spent decades sitting with this. What he left behind in living by the words of Bhagavan and final talks isn't a method. It's someone pointing very quietly at what was already present before the pointing began. If you want to sit with his words directly, the link to both books is in the first pinned comment below. And maybe that's enough for now to notice that something received all of this. Something was here for the whole movement, the waking, the claiming, the watching of the watching, without effort, without needing to be practiced into presence. What is that? If that question is still alive in you, there's more on this channel. More looking. Another video is waiting.